Hey everyone, it's Types, and today I'm going to be making a tier list of all the items in the Pokemon TCG current standard format. And interestingly, this does not include Pokemon tools because those are no longer considered items, so they're not going to be making a list. I don't know if I've made an items tier list before, but if I did, it's been quite a while, and I imagine some other people have, but I'm not sure if there are any currently. And I figured I'd show off like what the best ones are and what the worst ones are. And I think it gets more interesting near the middle side of the tier list as well. And I'll just go in order here. I don't really know what the order is. I think it might be by I don't know. We're starting off with Canceling Cologne here. This card's like pretty solid. I'm not sure exactly where this will end up, but I think B tier to start out is fine. It turns off your opponent's active Pokemon's abilities and for your turn. So this allows you to hit through effects. It was useful against stuff like Wheezing, and I honestly think it's a pretty alright effect. Right now, it's not super amazing, but also I'm gauging some of it somewhat in general as well. It was very good, and with the next set, it will be very good. I think now is probably the worst it's been in a while, but it's still nice to counter Miltank and see some play. And I think it's a pretty solid card. It's not super strong, but it's not bad either. Dark Patch. I mean, Dark Patch is a really good card. It's not super strong right now though. It doesn't have amazing partners, but I'm still gonna put an A tier because it's just so strong with this ability to accelerate so much energy. I mean, it's only one energy, but for an item card, that's very solid. And it's easy to use as well. So I think it's a very strong card. It doesn't necessarily have the tools to support it right now, but it's okay. Like Darkrai V-Stars are certainly an alright deck. It's in an okay spot, so I think I gotta give this an A tier because it's just such a good card, and we've seen cards like Metal Saucer and Dark Passion in the past has been very strong as well. Energy Lotto. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of this card. It allows you to look at the top 7 cards of your deck, put special energy or any energy you find there into your hand. Obviously, for basic energy, we're gonna get to Energy Search somewhere down here. I'll talk about it now actually, and that's just better for basic energy, but then for special energy, Energy Lotto still is not hitting it consistently, and because you only play 4, you're probably not going to hit it. I think it has minor use in Arceus decks, but I don't think it's a particularly strong card. If you want special energy, though, it's debatably the best way to search it out, but it still feels really bad to use, I'd say, because it's so inconsistent. Energy Search, on the other hand, is a very good card. I think it belongs in A tier. It's one of the more like staple items. I'd say on the lower end of staple items, but still a very strong card because it allows you to search just for an energy. It's useful if you have item search, but not, and this provides the energy search, which can be nice. And with Capacious Bucket rotating, which is a very good card, a very solid card at least. Energy search is seeing play as a replacement for that. It's not as strong, but it's still certainly all right. And the ability to be able to get like any different type of energy from your deck makes it useful in toolbox decks, Arceus decks. It's not amazing in those decks, but it's still solid. And overall, it's just like a nice inclusion, almost as a deck thinner as well. It's a card that feels pretty solid to play in a lot of decks. Featherball, I'll put in the top of B tier. I'm going to move Canceling Clone down. Canceling Clone's not that good right now. Featherball, I should probably move Dark Patch down too. It's not really seeing much play. Featherball, though, yeah, I guess it's better than Dark Patch. It seems playing Mew VMAX specifically because it searches Mew V and Mew VMAX, as well as it also can search Regilucky VMAX, but that's not that useful. Mostly the idea that you can search the Mew V and VMAX. It's one of the only items that you can. Well, it's not. I was to say one of the only items you can just play and don't need to get rid of other resources. It's one of the only search items that are super good that you don't need to get rid of any other cards. It's a very like solid card to put in a Mew VMAX deck. And you can just play it whenever. It has like okay value at the very least. So it's a solid B tier card. I don't personally think it's a super strong card, but it happens to be in a very good spot where it's support to one of the stronger decks in the game right now. Gutsy Pickaxe. Essentially just draw one, except for the fact that if you hit a fighting energy, you can attach to, I think, one of your bench fighting Pokemon, but honestly, it's not that good. The fact it's only to the bench kind of hurts, and there are very few ways to get cards on top of your deck guaranteed, especially energy cards. So this card's going to end up in D tier. It does see some play as like a pure deck thinner, but even then it's directly worse than Trekking Shoes, which I'll also talk about now, which says you look at the top card you can put into your hand, otherwise discard it and draw another card. It's a very solid way of just digging for cards you need. It's a solid inclusion in any deck. Honestly, it's an easy A tier card. I'm going to put it above Energy Search as well. I think the fact that it just allows you to cycle through your deck faster is very nice. And it's a very like reasonable card to play. It's amazing, no, but is it good? It's certainly fine. And I guess another card I should talk about with Gutsy Pickaxe is going to be Archrone here, which is, if you're familiar with Orangu, the ability Primate Wisdom, it's the same thing. When you switch a card in your hand with the top card of your deck, it's okay, but the fact you have to use an item for it, and it's like kind of awkward to search out and stuff, it's not really seeing any play. Just a bit too awkward. I'll move Gutsy Pickaxe up to C tier, I guess, but Archrone's definitely going in D. Gutsy Pickaxe does actually see a surprising amount of play as a deck thinner, but it's still like essentially a worse version of Trekking Shoes, and the Fighting Energy Acceleration essentially never fires. Like you can put it, I've seen it in fighting decks, but it's pretty much useless for that purpose. It's mostly just a draw one, which isn't awful, but as I said, it's worse than Trekking Shoes. Hisuian Heavy Ball now. Hisuian Heavy Ball is an absolutely insanely good card. It's got to be easily S tier. I think the best card we've looked at so far because it allows you to look at your prize cards, and then you choose a basic Pokemon there and put it into your hand. And basic Pokemon, obviously the idea is that allows you to help yourself out of bad prizing. And basic Pokemon are the generally most used tech cards. You could argue certain like items, something like Lost Vacuum, which we'll get to, certain support stadiums, but really I'd say the most like tech-based cards for specific matchups are Pokemon, especially with stuff like Drapion V, even Glare and Zapdos V, Raikou V, Klefki. Usually you'll play a few Klefkis, but allowing you to get out those tech Pokemon is super useful. And then more importantly, well, not necessarily more importantly, but debatably a very, very powerful aspect as well is the fact that it's just essentially a basic Pokemon search, a very limited basic Pokemon search, but at least it does get basic Pokemon to play, which is useful. And honestly, in the current format, it's a bit awkward to do that. But I'll talk about the other Pokemon search options now, I suppose. We got Lava Ball, we got Nest Ball, we have the Dream Ball, we have Pokeball, we have Great Ball, we have Fog Crystal, Ultra Ball, I guess we have Boost Shake, Battle VIP Pass, and do we have anything else for Pokemon Search? Oh yeah, we do. We have Egg Incubator, we have Lure Module, we have, I think that's it for Pokemon Search. I'll move some of these other search cards up as well. No, Capturing Aroma, I forgot, Capturing Aroma is pretty solid. So Battle VIP Pass, some people are massive fans of it. Also sorry that the cards are too small to read, but I'm trying to like tell you what they do. Battle VIP Pass can only be played in the first turn of the game, first or second, but only if you go first or if you go second, but only during the first turn of the game. That being said, it's an amazing card. Oh, I misclicked. Easily ending up in 8 here, though, especially because there are plenty of ways of getting rid of the card after the first turn of the game. And getting basic Pokemon down, as it says, a bit awkward to do right now. It's not horrible, but Battle VIP Pass has so much upside in so many decks. It's seeing play. Honestly, it's probably seeing too much play. I think it's a good card. I don't think it's an amazing. I mean, I do think it's a very strong card, but I think people are overhyping it a little bit. But it's still one of the best cards in the game, or at least best items in the game because of its ability to. Yeah, you set up so much. With just one Battle VIP Pass turn 1, you're in a good spot. And this allows you to get stuff like, I mean, anything. Any deck that plays lots of basic Pokemon, which is pretty much any deck in the whole game. This is super good. It has moderate synergy with Iridan, Arven, which are solid cards. But honestly, it's just like so good as he's playing Lost Zone, Gardevoir, Mew, a number of very good top decks. Then we see I guess talk about Nest Ball, which is just search for basic Pokemon, put it onto your bench. I don't think this is S tier because it's way worse than Quick Ball, which was discard a card from your hand, search for a basic, put into your hand. Nest Ball has to go straight to your bench, which is almost always a worse than going to your hand. There are a few scenarios where it's not, but generally it is, because now you don't get the on-play effect, and also you can't thin your deck with Nest Ball. So really the main turns you want to be playing it are the first turn of the game, excuse me. So a lot of times it's outclassed by Battle VIP Pass in terms of requiring lower value, but then certainly there are times when you want to be playing this on the second or third turn of the game. Even sometimes you'll play it later on in the game. It's a very good card, and pretty much every deck should probably play it. But it's not nowhere near as good as Quick Ball. It doesn't have any discard synergy. It can be a bit awkward to use at times, but overall, it's still the best way to search out basic Pokemon by far. Battle Leap Pass is good, but offers nowhere near as much versatility as Nest Ball, which offers nowhere near as much versatility as Quick Ball, which rotated. But Nest Ball is still a very strong card. It's one of the best cards in the game right now, certainly. Level Ball searcher Pokemon with 90 HP or less. I'm not really sure. This is definitely an A tier card. I'm trying to rank the tiers, and I'm not sure where this goes. I'm trying to think of good 90 HP or lower Pokemon, and there are a number. The Kirlia Engine, the Kirlia, and then the Ralts both have less than 90 HP. And the Level Ball is playing that deck. But then stuff like Lost Zone, the Pokemon have 90 HP or less. But Level Ball doesn't actually see that much play in the deck, so I feel like it's not good enough because it can't search out your EXs that evolve from your Pokemon. It can't search out your powerful Vs or V-Stars. It's still going to end up in like the middle of A tier, but it's not like the strongest card in the game or anything like that. Dream Ball. Dream Ball is a weird card. So if you don't know what this does, I believe you need to take it as a face-down prize card. I don't know if you can turn your prize cards face up, but it needs to be face down. And then you get to... you get to excuse me. You get to go ahead and take it as like a prize, and then you get to put it into your like you play it, essentially. Then you search your deck for a Pokemon and put it straight into play, which is pretty crazy. Sorry, it's like did I do Arc Phone right? I don't know, but Dream Ball, it's got really awkward to put into your prizes, but it's really powerful because it gets any Pokemon into play. But that's like, it's also a big like downside. I realized I did Arc Phone wrong. I don't know what I was confusing Arc Phone. Oh, I was confusing Arc Phone with Swap Cups. Yes, that's right. Switching Cups, it does what Arc Phone does, where it switches the top card of your deck. Sorry, I said the wrong card. But Dream Ball says that, as I said, you can like put a card from your hand. Arc Phone's handed to your prizes. Sorry, there's this weird combo with Switching Cups, Arc Phone, Dream Ball. I'm getting confused. But yeah, so Switching Cups is the one that switches. But Dream Ball is a quote-unquote Pokemon search, puts any Pokemon straight into play. The issue is that it's like really awkward to pull off, so it's F tier. It's really like bad. Arc Phone is the tool that says look at the top card of your deck. You may switch that card with one of your face-down prizes. So you do Switching Cups to put Dream Ball on top. You put Dream Ball into the prizes using Arc Phone. That's the combo. But it's like bad. So honestly, Arc Phone's probably worse. Arc Phone's really bad too. I can't really think of any utility it really has. Switching Cups has like theoretically some. But yeah, sorry, I said the wrong cards there. But it's all worked out now. It's all good. It's all good. Even though I got a little flustered. Okay, now we got some more ball search. We got Pokeball, which says that you get 2 flip coin if head search your deck for any Pokemon. It's bad. The fact that there are cards like Egg Incubator, Capturing Aroma, and I guess those two that are moderately similar, but the fact that you just get no value off of Pokeball half the time is really bad. And there are cards like that are good, but Pokeball isn't a substitute for Pokemon search. It has synergy with Yamper, which is the only good part about it, which literally just like recovers Pokeballs, but and Great Balls. But Pokeball has a very solid chance to end you up with nothing. And the fact that you get to search for any Pokemon's good, but is it broke? Like, it's good, but that's about it. The downside is way worse than the upside. And so it's going to end up in D tier. It's like a really bad card. And it's outclassed by so many options as well. I'll actually say it's worse than Switching Cups. It's like there's not really any reason to play this in any deck ever, especially with all the other Pokemon search that are so good right now. But then speaking of, I guess, Great Ball. Great Ball is also recoverable by Yamper. Great Ball, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, put a Pokemon you find there into your hand. Is that good? I mean, it's okay. It's like definitely not the best Pokemon search option, but it's not the worst either. I'll put it in B tier. I think it's a solid card, but it's not a card I really choose to play too often. It's definitely like an okay Pokemon search option, but a bit underwhelming as well. Compared to our next criteria, and I don't think there's too much to say about Great Ball, but if you play it, that's fine. I know some people really like the card, but I don't think it's that good. Ultra Ball here, though, discard 2 cards from your hand, which is Generally bad, but it's not too bad, and having the options for discard synergy is nice. In fact, this is essentially the... Actually, it might be the only item in the whole game that just discards cards from your hand. Now that I'm looking at it, which is crazy. It used to be Quick Ball, and then you had Quick Ball, Ultra Ball, and so you'd be able to discard super easily. Now you can't. Now Ultra Ball is like the only way to discard, which makes it very important. And then you search for any Pokemon. This is a search for any Pokemon any time. So it's like Pokeball, except it works. And it's absolutely insane. It's Ultra Ball, in my opinion, is the best card in the game right now. It's not in every deck. In fact, it might be in less decks than stuff like Nest Ball or Battle VIP Pass. But those cards don't provide anywhere near as much value as Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball makes so many decks in the game work. Essentially, any evolution-based deck is going to run 4 Ultra Ball and will get tons of value out of 4 Ultra Ball. You're never sad to see it in your hand unless you've gotten a perfect setup already, in terms of board state at least. So it's just so strong. And as I said, the ability to discard, it's essentially only seen in Ultra Ball. I guess you do have Trekking Shoes as well, but that's nowhere near as good. So Ultra Ball is like, it's just so good. I think me calling the Ultra Ball the best card in the game isn't anything crazy. It's super good, and it's like so good for consistency. So good synergy with Barrel, debatably Reverum as well, which isn't as good as Barrel, but it's still solid. It's just so good. If you're not playing Ultra Ball, I mean, I don't know. There are reasons not to play Ultra Ball. I don't think Ultra Ball is anywhere near as good as Quick Ball, which is, I say, also an S tier card, but I think Ultra Ball is still easily an S tier card. It's absolutely insane. Now I'm going to talk about some other Pokemon search options. There's so many. Capturing Aroma, Flip Coin. I don't remember which is heads, which is tails, but I think if tails search for a basic Pokemon and put in your hand, if heads search for an evolution put in your hand, this is very strong. But it's not obviously as consistent. You can compare it to Pokeball, but it always gets something. So it's pretty all right. And 50% of the chance it's going to give you exactly what you want, just like Pokeball. Except the other 50% of the chance you got a consolation prize of something that provides value to you. Obviously, don't play this in all basic decks. That'd be kind of silly. It's just like Pokeball. But then Capturing Aroma in... Capturing Aroma in evolution-based decks, notably Lugia Archeops, I think this card's very strong, but in any evolution-based deck, I think it's worthwhile. I'd still say it's worse than Ultra Ball, worse than Capturing Aroma, and obviously if you have Level Ball, it's worse than Level Ball. I'm going to put this card at the top of the B tier. It's worse than Feather Ball as well, but I think it's still like a solid card, a solid search option, and Seeds Play is definitely worth running sometimes. It's a little annoying, the randomness, but it's not that bad. Next up, we have Egg Incubator, which is, what does this card do? It's like, you like flip a coin if heads search for a Pokemon. If tails, it goes back into your hand, but it's not quite that. So I need to look it up. Because, like, there are these weird ones. Egg Incubator and Lure Module from Pokemon Go are just, like, 2 weird cards that are very forgettable and not awful, but not the best. Egg Incubator here says flip coin if heads search your deck for a basic and put it onto your bench and shuffle your deck. Tails, put Egg Incubator onto the bottom of your deck instead of the discard pile. Obviously the idea. Okay, yeah. So this, I was wondering if it was just basics, and it is. Obviously this is essentially just worse than Nest Ball, especially because it has to go onto the bench. No one like plays this card. It's pretty bad. I'd say it's probably like F tier. It's like really unfortunately not good. There's not too much saving grace about it. Obviously, if it fails, you get it back, but like the benefit's not that good, and the downside is kind of under like it just not very. It's worse than Pokeball, right? It's not very good. And then the Lure Module is a bit of a weird card as well. It says I believe each player looks at the top 3 cards of your deck, and then reveals them. Push all Pokemon they find there into their hand, and then they shuffle the other cards into their deck. Isn't that good? I mean, it's not really that good, right? You could help your opponent, but more importantly, it's only 3 cards. It sees less than Great Ball. You're probably never going to hit more than 1 Pokemon unless you play absurd amounts of Pokemon. I could maybe see this in a deck that plays absurd amounts of Pokemon, like Polteageist, Greedrite, or something. But that deck's like bad. This is better. This is like worse than Pokeball still, though. And the fact that it helps your opponent as well just seems so silly and unnecessary. I think it's kind of like Pokénav, but like worse. And then we see, I guess I'll talk about Fog Crystal. We have the next 2 Pokemon Search cards are Fog Crystal and Boost Shake. We're starting exactly Pokemon Search. now Boost Shake I'll do. Essentially, it's Wally if you're familiar with that sport that allows you to evolve immediately the turn you play it. It's an item card, except it ends your turn. This has weird synergies. It's much more of like, I'd say, a theory-based card where it's much more complicated. You need to get weird ideas with it, but it's an okay card. I'll put it in B tier. No, I'll put it top of C. What's a Dark Patch? Like, you're getting bumped down. You're not seeing any play, right? Yeah, that's fine. And I ripped Gutsy Pickaxe earlier. I gotta bump that down too. But then Dark Patch, as I said, like, I don't think it's good enough, so I'm gonna bump that down. What was it? Where I seem to have lost that card. Here, Boost Shake. I'll actually put. Nah, it's not above Dark Patch, but it had synergy with like Wheezing, but that rotated now. And Arctovish, I guess Arctovish. Dracovish, I think. And then like these very powerful abilities on Stage 1 Pokemon. Now it actually has value in terms of evolving quicker. You could do this into Duraludon VMAX. And there are other ideas as well. It's not like super strong, but there's the idea that you can like evolve faster. It's almost like a Radiant Eternatus, which is kind of weird to think about, but it's actually very similar to that type of card. I think it does value. It's very hard to play, but I definitely kind of like the ideas of it. And then we have Fog Crystal. This Fog Crystal is a very good card. I'm going to put an A tier. It's Energy Search plus essentially Ultra Ball without the discard for only Psychic Pokemon or Energy. But Psychic Pokemon Energy are quite good right now. We have Gardevoir EX and UV Max. There's even decks like Lunatone Solrock, Malamar, Mewtwo V-Star, Mewtwo V Union Control, the Curlier Engine as a whole. And there are Shadow Rider, Klefki. Not all those are decks. Some of those are just like Pokemon, but some of those are decks. It's a very good card. Honestly, I'm gonna put it up. I'm gonna put it above Level Ball. It's pretty insane. I'm gonna drop Energy Search. I overhyped that a little. But Fog Crystal is definitely one of like the best cards you've ever seen. We also saw it as Netball. It's just very good in the decks it sees play in because it has all this versatility. Fog Crystal only searches basic Psychic Pokemon, but it's still very, very good. It's very versatile, very powerful. It allows you to search out all these like powerful Pokemon like Klefki, like UV. It's like, I mean, it doesn't see play in either of those decks, but any deck where you like, it's a Psychic deck like Gardevoir. It's so good in Gardevoir. As it fulfills several of that Nest Ball, Quick Ball style card, as well as that Energy Search, and it's just a very good card. It's not one of the best ever. I changed my mind about that. That was kind of silly, but it's still very good. Speaking of really good, Wait and See Turbo, allowing you to accelerate an energy the first turn of the game, going second, and then it ends your turn. Yeah, this card's like really awful. Don't like ever play this card. And essentially has 0 value. Like there are way better things. We saw Wait and See Hammer, which allowed you to get rid of an energy. But accelerating energy versus discarding energy, they're completely different. Disruption can be very powerful. And Wait and See Hammer wasn't very good anyways. But Wait and See Turbo allowing you to accelerate energy. But then the fact that it ends your turn so bad, I think if it didn't do that, it could have some value. But like it does. It does end your turn. So it essentially has no value. It's just bad. Camping Gear. It is also pretty not good. Searching for any card on an item, very powerful. Then it ends your turn. That's not like good. It theoretically has some value in control style decks, but at the same time, like I don't know, it's just not that good. And the fact that it ends your turn means you can just get judged, which is very possible. I don't despise the card, but it's bad. Like there's not really much redeeming it. Toolbox, again, I don't like this card at all, but yeah, I don't know. It's theoretically playable in Rotom V-Star. I'll put it, I guess that brings it to bottom of C. It lets you look at the top 7 of your card, so your deck, put any tools you find there in your hand, or it might just be 2, I don't know. But it gets like tools, but like you don't really need tools for anything. Like you don't need 10 tools in your hand. It's just kind of silly. Theoretically, Rotom V-Star has value, but it's like Rotom V-Star. Rotom V-Star is just really bad. So, it's not really a particularly strong card. Yeah, I'll drop it some more. Actually, it's probably worse than Pokeball, honestly. Gutsy Pickaxe. I'm moving back up. I'm not really sure. I'm just moving stuff around. I'm not quite sure. What's a spicy seasoned curry? I think there was some idea of this deck having some synergy, but I don't really remember how it worked. It heals and then it like burns you. In terms of an average card, it's pretty useless. I think it was used with Serene Electrode V, which like put special conditions on itself, and then it like did lots of damage. It was a very strange deck. I guess it's not B. I guess it's like put it top of D. Like it's bad for healing because you actually damage yourself like in the process. So it's kind of silly. I don't think it's the worst card in the world, but I've never really seen anyone use this much, other than that specific Hisuian Electrode V deck, which isn't the worst deck in the world, but it's still not very good. So it'll end up in D. And again, you could play multiple of these and heal a bunch, but it's still not great. Sweet Honey. This is kind of like I think it's Swiftly Get Tails. It's like I'll do all the healing cards now, I guess. And switch card will go there too, but freshwater set, picnic basket, quad stone, a classic. What else is there? There's like damage pumps, kind of healing card. I thought there were more healing cards. I mean, this is still a bunch. Oh, potion, there it is. That's what I was looking for. And there are like healing supporters too. I believe those are the healing cards now. So Sweet Honey, it's like an okay card. It has actually, there's a deck around it with Vespiquen, but it's not that good. This will be like bottom of C. I don't think it's the worst healing card on this list by far, but it's like, it's not super good either. Lucky Ice Pop though is definitely better. I'll put that in B. People always seem to get lucky with it. It's like very silly. Both Sweet Honey and Lucky Ice Pop heal you more based on coin flips. Lucky Ice Pop's more versatile. I don't remember which heals more on average, but Lucky Ice Pop's more like consistent. And so Lucky Ice Pop's definitely like a very solid card and worth playing in certain decks. It's kind of an annoying toxic card, but it's definitely seen play and been very successful with certain decks. Not amazing, but certainly solid. So I'm going to put in B tier. Picnic Basket, I believe, heals 30 from each Pokemon in play, yours and your opponent's. I don't personally know if this card is good or not. I think it has minor play as counter to Lost Box, play in Gardevoir. I'll put it in. I'll put it above Lucky. I'm going to move Lucky Ice Pop down a few. I realized that was like way too high. I'll just put it next to Sweet Honey because they're very similar cards. But Picnic Basket healing all Pokemon is kind of interesting. It's C tier. It's not that good, but it's kind of like a funny card, and I think it has value, but it's also like an awkward one to use. Freshwater set heals 20 from each of your Pokemon. I'd rather do Picnic Basket, to be honest, if I'm damaging myself, because healing your opponent isn't really that big of a deal. So I'd say it's like pretty underwhelming with Papa D. Quadstone is like really awful. You heal like 10. It might only have to be from your active. I don't know for if you play one. But you can play like all 4 and then heal all your damage off of all your Pokemon. But like I've never seen this card used ever. Maybe I'll try it out sometime, but it looks horrendously awful. So, yeah, Quadstone exists, but it's pretty awful. I guess it's better than Wait and See Turbo, but it's still really bad. Damage Pump, move damage counters up to 2 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon. I mean, this is okay, but it's like certain specific synergies. Actually, no. This is gonna be top of B, like middle of B tier. That's actually a very strong synergy with Gardevoir EX and various ideas with that. We can put more energy on Pokemon. We'll be using Damage Pump, so I think actually Damage Pump's a very worthwhile card. And then with this Suin Zorak V-Star deck, it was like literally made for that, where you do lots of damage spread out around your different Pokemon, and it's very strong. And so I'll put it in middle of B tier. It's not an amazing card, no amazing decks it's in, or no like super amazing effects, but it's still a solid card. Potion, heal 30, a classic. That'll be just above. No, that'll be just below Picnic Basket. It's like a very moderate, middle of the road card. Is it worth playing in some decks? Yeah, but it's not super strong and not really good enough most of the time. Switch card. This has to be A tier. I'm gonna drop switching trekking shoes down as well. Switch card. It'll be here. honestly, Level Ball and Fog Crystal. I'm going to drop down 2 because I think these S and A tier cards are like really the best ones by far. Switch your basic active with one of your benched. That's super useful in essentially any deck in the game. It's debatably the best switch card. In fact, I'll talk about different switch cards now. We got Rope, Switch. I'll talk about Toy Catcher, Cross Switcher, and what else? There's some like very important ones. There's one very important one that I'm like forget. Oh no, I think it's just Switch and Rope, and then Switch Card, which is already there. So I like Switch Card's nice because it allows you like it's only basics, but basics are the main way to switch. Pokemon that needs switching. It's not seen play in every deck, but I think it's very solid, and the healing actually can be very important. Specifically in the Lost Zone mirror match, but also in some other like it's a very solid card, to be honest. It's just like a solid A tier. Escape Rope is also a very good card. I'll put it actually above Assumed Heavy Ball and Switch card because it like does disruption. It can be used for very powerful cards. It forces your opponent to switch as well, or very powerful plays to kill. You have very powerful cards, and so I think Escape Rope is definitely like one of the best cards in the game right now. Its ability to send your opponent's Pokemon to the bench can do a little bit of disruption, help you switch, and with switching being so important right now, especially in the Lost Zone, I think it's just absolutely insane. And with so much control, switch cards are super important. And Escape Rope is like a control player's worst nightmare. Now Switch. Switch is also, it's like an A tier card. I'd say it's worse than the other switches. It's very simple. It does what it does. No downsides, no upsides other than just switching. It's a very good card still. You could really argue which of these switch cards is the best. Cross Switcher, I guess I'll put in like middle of B tier. It's a very good card. Allowing you to gust. You need to play 2 of it though. Oh, I really still need this card here as well. And yeah, so it's like very powerful. Switch for you. It's Guzma's. You switch and your opponent. You switch your opponent as well. Is it super like consistent though? It's not, which is a big problem, especially without the Italian engine. I think its big like power push isn't there anymore. It's still like a very usable card, especially with stuff like Irida, Raihan, Arvin, but it's not on a throne anymore like it used to be. Pokemon Catcher, honestly, is a very solid card. It's worse than Pokemon and Cross Switcher, but not that much worse. I'll put it right below it because of its ability to... I'll put it below Capturing Armor. It's very, like, simple. You just drop it, and then you gust, or you don't gust. It's like Pokeball, except, like... I don't know. Gusting's, like, so useful. Pokemon Search is very useful as well, but... gusting can be more important, I definitely think, and so it's especially good in like control decks. It literally can just straight up win you games, unlike Pokeball, which does not straight up win you games. Toy Catcher, I believe got some Pokemon with 50 HP or less. It might be 40. I don't know. This card's like bad. It's like a D tier. I don't really know how you'd play it. Sure, it does like gust, but it's not particularly like useful, strong, or consistent. So it's D tier. So yeah, I don't know anyone who like plays this card. Energy Recycler. Is this? Then I'll do any energy interacting cards actually. That card's very good. That card's very good. All like the energy cards are so strong. I guess that goes there as well. And that card goes there. I should talk about I'm looking at all like the energy cards and they're just so crazy and so strong. But anyway, Energy Recycler allowing you to shuffle 5 energies from your pile into your deck with Ordinary Ride Loss. This is an easy A tier, bottom of the A tier, but super strong still. Notably in Lost Box is absolutely insane. But really in any deck in the game, being able to recover energy is very important, and this is the best way to do so. Or Energy Retrieval, but Energy Retrieval doesn't have synergies with current cards in format. Energy Recycler has synergies with Mirage Gate and Electric Generator, as well as other cards. Energy Recycler is still a solid card, but it's only going to go in like the middle of the B tier because it just isn't as good as Energy Recycler doesn't have those synergies with cards. Earn Vitality, recover 2 single strike energies from your disco pile into your deck. This gets very good as well. I'll put it A tier. It's much more of a niche card, only used with one specific card, but it's still very strong. And single strike energy is just absolutely insane, especially with this. I think Earn Vitality is a very strong card. and definitely worth like messing around with because single strike energy is very strong. Crushing Hammer. Crushing Hammer is also a good card. I'll put it top of like B for now. There's the issue that it's just not a useful card right now, but on a coin flip, you discard a Pokemon's your opponent's an energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon. It's very strong, but again, it's the idea of if you flip tails, you get nothing. But this is even more powerful than Gust sometimes. And also, you can just chuck it in any deck and get some value out of it in any deck. It's better in control decks. It really is the only thing that does what it does for basic energy at the very least. So I think it's certainly a very strong card. Energy Switch honestly has almost no value right now. So it'll go like in the middle of the C tier. I think there have been points where it's had very powerful amounts of value, but right now I think Energy Switch doesn't do much. It does exactly what it says. So it moves energy from one of your Pokemon to one of your other Pokemon, but it's pretty weak. You can't move special energy either, so it's a bit underwhelming. Now, what is also one of the best cards in the game, honestly, no, Mirage Gate's also S tier. I normally wouldn't put multiple S tier cards, but man, Mirage Gate's like so good. Mirage Gate might be the best card in the game. Also, I was gonna say Ultra Ball is like clearly the best, but Mirage Gate's so powerful, allowing you to accelerate energy of different types, basic energy of different types to your Pokemon any way you want. If you have 7 more cards in the Lost Zone, that's insane. If you've ever played with Ultra Beast, it's like that, except it's way easier to use. The Ultra Beasts were kind of awkward. You had to do these very specific plays. It's not like that with Mirage Gate. Mirage Gate, you just play all of them. You can play 4 Mirage Gate in the game. You don't need all your Mirage Gates in the game because they're just extra. You can power up any attacker in the whole game using Mirage Gate. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, this card's like debatably overpowered, and it kind of like it's so strong and it actively provides value. Unlike Ultra Ball, which like is good, provides value to a deck, but there are replacements to it. There are no replacements to Mirage Gate. It is really, truly one of the best cards in the game. And actually, similarly, we see Electric Generator extending energy to Lightning Pokemon. I'll actually just put this right above Switch. It's like it's kind of like a Dark Patch. Actually, I'd argue Dark Patch is a better card, except Electric Generator is it's easier to use, and Electric's very strong. Lightning's a very strong type. So I got to put an A tier with the Miraidon Regieleki VMAX deck being a very powerful deck. I think Electric Generator, it's really proven that's a very strong player in the format. It deserves to be an A tier. Fan of Waves, I think it's a very solid disruption card. Has very nice synergy actually with Shadow Rider Calyrex V, specifically against some UV max decks, which is a bit of a weird thing. That being said, I only put it on top of the C tier because I don't think it provides enough value, enough the time. It doesn't provide true disruption, especially against a deck like Lugia. It's just kind of pointless. So I think Fan of Waves is a solid card, but it could be better as well. Actually, if it was better, it would be overpowered. But we've seen stuff like not Crushing Hammer. I was going to say Special Hammer. I seem to have forgotten the name of the Enhanced Hammer. There we go. Enhanced Hammer, discarding special energies. Fan of Waves is a nerf version of that. And it's not as good then. It is actually searchable with Octillery as well, which is kind of interesting, but not too much to say about that. Echoing Horn, again, another Rapid Strike card here. And this card is a very powerful card. I also forgot Cross Switch was Fusion Strike, but it is, which doesn't really matter. But the Rapid Strike card, which is Echoing Horn, is like pretty good. Actually, it's very good. I'll put an A tier, allowing you to recover one of your opponent's Pokemon into play. Basic Pokemon, which is just kind of absurd, like recovering your opponent's Pokemon, but allows you to punish them by getting it trapped in the active, or more likely just KOing it again for easy prizes. So many Pokemon in the game want to be able to do this, especially because so many decks are playing various types of Pokemon with basic single prizers, 2 prizers, 3 prizers, mostly 2 prizers and 1 prizers, but having access to your opponent's weakest Pokemon and being able to KO them very easily is so useful, especially with spread-based decks, which are pretty common right now. So I gotta give it A tier. And then I'll also talk about the other Battle Styles cards, I guess. So we got Crossfever, Power Tablet's very good. It's definitely like an A tier card as well, allowing essentially your UV Max to do more damage or your Meloetta. But really, the whole thing is that UV Max does more damage. UV Max is very good. It powers up Fusion Strike Pokemon in terms of the damage for that turn. It's so good. Power Tablet is definitely a very strong card. Crossfever, you play 2, you get back a Pokemon or like a supporter. Is it okay? Good. I mean, it's okay. I think it deserves more play than it sees, but I'm only going to put in C tier. It's not an amazing card by any means. I'll put it in bottom of C2, above Sweet Honey. Welcoming Lantern, allowing you to recover any single strike supporter from your discard pile into your hand. Theoretically very good. There are some solid single strike supporters, but I just don't think it has enough value. I think the best way to play is with Lunatone and Soul Rock with Bruno, and then Welcoming Lantern, which I think is a solid combo, but I just don't think it's quite good enough in general. So I'll put it in like top of C, somewhere around here. And now the card I dread talking about because it's like weird. Expedition Uniform. Look at the bottom 3 cards of your deck, put them onto the top of your deck in any order, and then yeah, like this is just a strange card. I don't really know what to think about it. It does allow you to control your top deck, like not Arc Phone, like Switching Cups. There you go. And can interact with Switching Cups. Theoretically has synergies, but I don't really know what. Like it's a weird card. All the stuff it interacted with, like Marnie, Zacian, Rangaroo, Trumbeak, they've all like rotated, but it's not the worst card in the game. I'll put it bottom of C tier. Lost Vacuum is an absolutely insane card. Definitely one of the best cards. I'm going to move Dark Patch again. I feel bad putting him in C tier. I'll put it in B. Same thing with Fan Waves. Fan Waves is a very viable card. Lost Vacuum, allowing you to Lost Zone Pokemon, a Pokemon tool in play or a stadium in play. Then you Lost Zone card from your hand. 1, it does add to the Lost Zone package, but 2, and more importantly, it's a very good counter card. It's like a weaker version of Field Blower, but Field Blower was kind of overpowered. People would put like 4 Field Blower in your deck, which is just absurd for the fact that it's like a tech item that allows you to like bump stadiums and tools. But Lost Vacuum, when paired to stuff like Path to the Peak and UV Max or Lost Zone packages, it's a very strong card, but at the same time, it does have some major downsides where you lose a card for the whole game. I definitely say it's like an A tier card. That was a very solid card. Rescue Carrier honestly doesn't see too much play. I'll put it like C tier. I think it's a worthwhile card to play, but people don't really play it because they don't have use for it. Level Ball is only in B tier despite being one of the most consistent search options in the game. So I think Crossover is Rescue Carrier is clearly not quite living up. Cramorant, discard a card from your hand, flip a coin. If heads, search your deck for any card. I would say discard an item from hand. This card's like definitely an A tier. No, it's a B tier card. It seems played in UV Max. It's a very powerful card, but at the same time, it's inconsistent. It makes a well-working deck work even better. And actually has seen some other play in other decks, but overall, I'd say Chromatic's like one of those nice cards that are just pretty solid. I think it's a nice consistency booster, even though it makes your deck feel more inconsistent. It has synergy with Battle VIP Pass. It's a cool card. It's kind of annoying, kind of dumb, but it's a very strong card as well. With its ability to get any card, kind of like not old PC, like Camping Gear, except it's much better. Unidentified Fossil. I'll skip this one for now. I'm going to talk about the others. The core ones, I guess. Palpad. Essentially, the only way to cover supporters easily. Honestly, this card is also going in S tier. I think it enabled so many good things. It's not saying too much about it. Nah. It enables control completely. Palpad. So I got to give it S tier. Its combo with Silene and I forget the card. Team Yell's tier, I think. It's so strong. It allows you to do anything and to your opponent's Pokemon if you're playing a control deck. So it's so strong. And then we also see Pokegear, which is a nice search setup card. It's not that good though. I'll put it in B tier, I suppose. But I'd say it's it's probably somewhere around here. I'm gonna drop Retrieval, put it below. I'll put it right here. Rare Candy, which allows you to evolve your stage 2s faster. I mean, this is easily an A tier card, right? I'm also sorry for any background noise, but Rare Candy is easily an A tier card. You could argue it's an S tier card, but I'll put it near the top or right around here. It literally makes stage 2 decks. It's Rare Candy's S tier. Rare Candy's S tier. I gotta bump down Palpad. I was being too nice to it. But yeah, no. Rare Candy is absolutely insane. Enabling stage 2 decks, it's literally it's so absurd. It enables a substantial portion of the decks. It's still a bit stage 2s are just kind of underpowered, but Rare Candy is so good. It's gonna change the game. It's changed the game forever. WC Gardevoir EX, which doesn't even need Rare Candy that much, but still so strong. Yeah, Rare Candy is definitely one of the best cards we've ever seen. Although it's very hard to compare with other cards. Speaking of cards that are hard cards that are hard to compare and hard to say. Apparently, unidentified fossil. Like this is it's a Pokemon, but all the cards that evolve from it are bad, except for Arcaps, which you skip. I'll put in like honestly, it's like one of the worst cards in the game. Nah, that's like kind of mean. I'll put in top of F tier, but no one like plays this card ever, because like why would you play it? It's just like a card that exists, but it's a very strange one, and I don't really think it makes like I don't know. I don't even know what like evolves in fossils, but all I know is they're all like bad except for Arcaps, which, as I said, you don't get into play that way. So yeah, this is the tier list. Right, it was kind of a messy video, but I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna make some more tier lists. I'll try to get better. Who knows if I will or not. But hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video. And if you had any, if you want me to do something differently for tier lists, you want me to rank different things, please feel free to comment that down below. But I hope you enjoyed. As always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.